Objectification theory has to do with the sexual objectification of females that's likely to contribute to mental health problems that disproportionately affect women. So, eating disorders, depression, and sexual dysfunction via two main paths. The first path is direct and overt and involves sexual objectification experiences, and this has been developed by Barbara Fredrickson and Tommy Ann Roberts in 1997. And basically, what the media portrays plays into objectification theory, but it all has to do with schema theory as well. And schema theory examines how individuals build their own understanding to explain aspects of the world. And if young girls in Latin households aren't talking about bodies in the home, which they probably aren't because they're usually more conservative, then they're going to believe what the media portrays on what a body should and shouldn't look like. And an example of this would be Gloria Delgado Pritchett and Betty Suarez, who are featured in Modern Family and in Ugly Betty, and they're big examples of this. Some common stereotypes when it comes to body type and body image of Latinas is that they're curvy, usually brown and tanner skin, have big breasts, they're always dressed up in heels and dresses. And these kinds of stereotypes can lead to body dissatisfaction. And despite the belief that Latinas accept a more curvy or less skinny body type, they're actually more at risk for body dysmorphia due to the conflicting body images presented in U.S. media. They're told that Latinas are curvy and big naturally, but that the standard should be skinny and tall. So that makes it unattainable for them. So essentially, white and Latina women have the same rates of body dissatisfaction. Self-esteem is reciprocally predictive of body dissatisfaction and perceptions of negative body image, which may lead to eating disorders among adolescent girls and women. And due to conflicting social identities of being female and being a member of a minority, Latina adolescents experience intersecting forms of oppression, which can lead them to develop things like eating disorders. The internalization of unrealistic perspectives stemming from Latin households and from American media can cause girls and women to judge their appearances, and that manifests especially in anxiety, body shaming, and eating disorders. And there is an interrelationship between internalization, body surveillance, and body shaming. And intersectionality theory specifically acknowledges the fact that Latinas have multiple forms of stress from multiple forms of intersections. In terms of eating disorder symptomology, Latinas are more likely to report more diuretic and laxative use than girls from all other ethnic groups. But body image dissatisfaction caused by sexual objectification in the media can easily lead to disordered eating. And young people understand the world as it is presented to them. And if they're constantly fed the narrative that Latinas always need to be dressed up, using their skinny fit bodies, then they're going to believe that. When they look at themselves and they don't see these expectations, they do anything to achieve it. And that is disordered eating and developing body dysmorphia and appearance anxiety. Someone like Gloria Delgado Pritchett from Modern Family fits the stereotype developed by the U.S. media of the curvy, tan skin, that almost fake-looking body. And her daughter-in-law, Claire, who's white and skinny, fits that American ideal. She can wear flat shoes and wear loose pants, but Gloria really doesn't. And in terms of Ugly Betty, Betty Suarez, she's the complete opposite. And constantly throughout the show, she's a victim of cruel jokes by her white, skinny coworkers.
I like your poncho. My dad got me one in Guadalajara.
Milan, Dolce & Gabbana, fall.
Oh.
Betty Suarez?
Hi, that's me. I have a hard copy of my resume if you need it. Should I follow you?
Actually, there's been a mistake.
A mistake?
And while she doesn't have the ideal look, when they offer her an interview, they assume she's going to be thin and are surprised to see what she looks like. They reduce her accolades to the way that she looks and debate even giving her the position to begin with. While she's waiting on her bench at the opening scene, she mentions also having a poncho, but when a skinny white person does it, it's okay. But her sister fits the stereotype better, and throughout the show is called the better-looking sister. This character is depicted as the sexy Spitfire Latina who wears tight, revealing clothing and who uses her physical appearance and sex appeal to her advantage. Hilda represents the reality that U.S. Latinas are overrepresented in high school dropout and teen pregnancy rates. And while Betty is presented as a physically object according to the dominant construction of beauty, she is loyal, honest, intelligent, and good. And this can help instill a lot of ethnic pride in young Mexican American girls. A lot of Mexican women on TV are generally white, thin, and tall, and Betty's not. She's accomplished, intelligent, and multidimensional. But this does leave viewers with the idea that in order to be smart, successful, and Latina, you have to be ugly. So in the end, between these two examples, there's a really confusing narrative over what a Latina should look like and what she actually looks like. And this is especially dangerous to young women because they can develop a sense of dissatisfaction if they don't look like Gloria and they actually look like Betty. And then they internalize the idea that the world will only ever see their bodies as ugly. Another factor of body dissatisfaction is acculturative stress. And acculturative stress is a coping mechanism that occurs as an individual attempt to resolve cultural differences between the culture of origin and the host culture during the acculturation process, which is the culture and psychological change that occurs in adapting to a new and dissimilar culture from one's culture of origin. In Latin culture, there is a great deal of pressure to appease the men, so machismo, to do what they say, what they want, when they to cook for them, etc. American culture since the late 80s has been about strong, independent women getting an education and being sexually free, completely opposite to Latin culture. In terms of beauty, American culture is largely obsessed with the thin, young, tall bodies. Latinas are completely built differently, but there is an emphasis in Latin culture to be thin or snatched. And exposure to mainstream American values and ideals of appearance may lead to significant stress as a minority woman to attempt to negotiate these differences. The attractive American woman ideal is unattainable to Latinas just based on biology alone, due to skin tone, facial features, and body type.